Hello and welcome to another episode of What Do You Call It podcast. I'm your host, GB. Today's guest is one half of the Emo Trash Boys. Please welcome the pace setter, Andros J. Andros, how you doing this week?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not too bad.
Good,
Work is
good.
done. Did have my birthday this week.
Oh, happy birthday, happy
Thank
birthday.
you. I had to squeeze that in, mate. It was
Of
a few days
course.
ago, but just any opportunities for someone to say it again, even though the time's passed, I'm more than welcome to hear it again.
We'll make you feel special, mate. Don't worry.
Uh, but unfortunately, we're not going to be celebrating my birthday. What we're going to be doing is celebrating your wrestling career and celebrating you
Mm.
as an individual. Before I discuss the Emo Trash Boys and where you are at in wrestling in general, I want to rewind the clocks, mate, and I want to discover when did you become a fan of wrestling?
Wow. I was about 5 years old,
Yep.
roughly. So we're talking a long time ago. And my stepfather at the time was showing me just some odd bits of wrestling. Something which really stood out to me was the ladder match from WrestleMania 17
Yeah.
for Hardys, Dudleys, and Christian. And from that minute, I was hooked. Absolutely
Incredible
hooked.
matches, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. Like that was the thing for me. It was from there, and then it was like little bits and pieces scattered in where he was like, "Oh, here's the PS2. Here's SmackDown. SmackDown. Here comes the pain," and that's it. Hooked from that moment as well. So little bits and pieces have just kept me going throughout.
When you were playing them games, by the way, who were your
Mm.
favorites to play as? I always find it's quite
Ah,
intriguing because everyone kind of has their boy, someone they
yeah.
always, maybe girl even, but they always have their favorite characters, and it'd always be someone like high flying, like Jeff Hardy or Rey Mysterio. But I want to hear yours, mate.
Yeah, mine was always Jeff. It was always
Yeah.
Jeff. If it weren't Jeff, it was usually Shawn Michaels. They're
No,
the two I flip flopped between.
no, wicked, wicked. As you would get older, would you find yourself attending like live shows in the UK? Like the All Star ones, or did you even go to like a lot of WWE shows when it came over?
Uh, no, I didn't go to my first wrestling show till actually quite late. I was
Yeah,
about 13, and I went and saw EWW in Herne Bay. And I think it was like there's some sort of casket match or something from memory. I can't exactly remember who was in it or what it was, but that was the very first one. And then I didn't go to any other shows until I started training after
yeah.
that. So there's a big gap between seeing my first live show to then actually knowing somewhat about the business itself.
Oh, wicked, wicked. When did you want to get into the wrestling business? Take that foot into it and be like, oh, actually, want to do this, want to try it.
It was something I always wanted to do. So I dabbled a little bit when I was 13. Like my cousin was training
Hmm.
and I got to sit in on those sessions, which was really cool. But there was always like, oh, you're too small. Like if you was just a little bit bigger, if you was a little bit bigger like your cousin, we could probably let you join in, but you're just too small. Like come back when you get your growth spurt.
Yeah.
And at the time I was playing football. I just signed to an academy and
Nice.
I got injured. I got injured.
Oh, right, that's
And
not
I
nice.
was like, ah, bro, F this football stuff. I don't want to do
Yeah.
this no more. And then my other cousin, which everyone knows as Dominic King, or my kayfabe brother, Dominic King, he always took the absolute piss out of me for liking wrestling. He always picked on me for it. He always bullied me for it. He didn't get it. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, after football training, he goes, "Oh, I've been watching WWE Monday Night Raws, and I love it." And I'm like, "Where the hell has this come
Yeah.
from?" I was like, "Well,
Been telling
I
you this,
like,
mate. Like,
yeah, like after like bullying me for years for it,
yeah,
like taking the piss out of me, he all of a sudden was like, "Oh, I love this." I'm like, "Who is this guy?"
yeah.
And I was like, "Well, no, wrestling academy. If you're interested," he was like, "I'm done." And that was it. Like the following week, I messaged my dad, "Mike, can we go here?" And he's like, "Yep, absolutely." So we go down to the academy in Swanley, which isn't there anymore. We go there, and that's it. Our wrestling journey started at 17 years old.
Nice, nice. And when you did train, did you find any challenges, any specifically like cutting the promo, taking the bumps, the cardio, the training, meeting new people? Just how did you find it at first?
Yeah, like I've always been a very antisocial person.
Yeah.
And wrestling's very much you have to be a social person. You have to go up and shake hands and say hello to people and be very social. Which
Mhm.
I'm as a general person, I'm just not. That's just not me. And neither was Dominic. So it was very much. we kind of kept to ourselves in the corner, but we was with such a welcoming group that they always wanted to involve us. Like the fitness side was always okay, the bumps were okay, the move was always fine, but it always came down to the confidence. Like my lefts and rights at first, they'd be all over the place.
Mm.
I'd constantly have to look at Dominic behind me, and he would be waving his left hand at me. I'd be like, all right, that's the left hand. Gotcha.
Yeah, think about that coordination. That's one thing that
Yeah.
wouldn't slip my mind, definitely, as a casual fan.
Yeah, it's like silly little things like
Yeah.
those that know everyone in the UK, we all work on the left side of the body. And for me, getting my head around that for like the first year was just baffling. I was like, I don't get it, you know. But
I did not know that,
yeah.
by the way. I've had
Oh well.
probably over 150 British talent on this podcast. I didn't know that. Fair fucking
Whoops.
play to you, mate. No, 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 no. That's fine, mate. Fucking hell, I didn't know
Yeah, yeah.
that.
But it's like, in Mexico they'll work on the right side of the body.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. But like next time you do comms at DK, I'm sure you'll start picking that up. You're like, oh, Andros said that. I can
Yeah,
see it now.
let's keep an eye
I
out for
can
that
see it
now.
now.
Or no,
Yeah.
then I'm going to still remember I need to talk when I'm like paying attention.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
But no, that's cool, mate. It's cool. Sort of a tradition now on this podcast is asking about debuts, your first ever
Yeah,
match. But just because a lot goes into it, mate. Like there's gonna be
yeah.
pressure. Yeah, your colleagues are watching you. Your friends and family might be out there. You know, it's your first time in the ring. Andros, tell me all about it, mate.
Yeah, so me and Dominic, we busted. I'd like to say we busted our asses for a good while to get our debut. Like we really really wanted to earn it. We wanted to prove to everyone that we wanted it. And our mentors at the time were D&D. They were the big tag team of IPW, Kieran Donnelly and Danny Duggan, and we were having a tag match. So we didn't want to let our mentors down. We were very nervous. We were very anxious, and
Yeah.
we're facing a team called the Bone Brothers, which were two huge, jacked, identical twins. At the time, me and Dominic were very small, very tiny. It was very, very nerve wracking. And I just remember the promoter telling us, you guys are going to be the good guys, they're the bad guys. Cool, no problem. We plan the match, everything's going to go fine. We take one step out the curtain, and me and Dominic got booed out the building.
Yeah.
Got
Straight away.
absolutely booed out the building. We little did we know the Bone Brothers had most of their family in the audience, and they did not take to us whatsoever. No matter what we did, they did not take to us.
But
And
like, that's better than no reaction, mate. Let's just
yeah, absolutely,
get that out
absolutely. I'm
there.
like, we were lucky enough, we were smart enough at the time to just switch and go, okay, this is what they're playing into. We'll play
Yeah.
into it. Which I'm surprised we did, to be fair, because as someone who's new to the business, probably wouldn't have done that. But I saw Dominic kind of starting to give the cheek to him. I was like, well, I'll follow suit. If we get shouted at, we get shouted at. But I'd rather that than just keep trying and getting nothing.
No, no, definitely, mate. Sometimes you gotta follow with what the crowd's responding to and
Yeah.
reacting to as well.
Mm. Yeah, I mean the match itself wasn't fantastic, just like most people's first match.
Mm.
I don't overly remember coming back to the backstage area. I hit my head quite hard in that match. Um, but apart from that, it was fun, it was good.
Have you watched it back?
Oh no. I've watched it back. I've watched the part where I hit my head. Um,
Is
and
that
then
out
there's
there
another
on YouTube or anything? This
possibly somewhere. I know Dominic's got footage of it somewhere,
yeah.
and
Oh God, that
I'm
sounds
sure
quite
it's
sick now. Just like, oh, I want to see it now.
yeah.
It's fine. He's
Uh,
okay. He's okay now. You
yeah, I'm fine. Trust me, that you're about to hear worse at some point.
know.
But yeah, there was a spot in the match where there's meant to do a double clothesline to me and Dominic,
hmm
and I completely forgot to get in the ring. And I'm just stood there watching, and I'm just looking at him trying to back at me. I'm like, oh, I was supposed to be in for this spot. And
Yeah.
his head just gets taken off by his two huge jack guys, and he's laying on the floor flipping me the bird. I'm like, oops,
My bad. My
my
bad.
bad. Sorry, Dom, my bad.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. But you, as we've established, you are okay now. Um,
Yes.
before I
It was a
move
long time
on
ago.
into more tag team wrestling, the Emo Trash Boys. I want to talk about more your single career highlights. One
Mhm.
thing I saw, yeah, I think it was like a short video, but you in the ring with Johnny fucking Storm,
Oh, yeah,
British wrestling
Johnny.
legend, mate. But I think it was the first ever wrestler I saw live. as
Oh
a
well.
kid. I didn't know who it was. I think Earthquake was in the main event or something like that.
Yeah,
Rock,
yeah.
Johnny Storm's open up. I'm like, holy shit, who's this? You know, this is awesome. But you getting to be in the ring with him. Tell me about that, mate. That experience.
Honestly, mind blowing.
Yeah,
Like from crewing the old shows at IPW to eventually getting on them. But me and Dominic a few start times ran his merch store, and every time we saw him and Jody, we're like, "That's our dream match.
yeah.
That's our dream match to face Jody and Johnny, or whether it's singles or tags, wherever it is. That's what I want." And fast forward years later, I've done work for Gen Pro for years. And they're like, "Hey, we're thinking about doing you and Johnny Storm. We need a really safe worker to go with Johnny to look after him. We
Hmm.
want that to be you." And I'm like, "That's
What
such
an
an
honor.
honor."
Yeah.
And not only have I got to do it once, I've done it about 3 or 4 times now.
Oh,
So
nice. Have you done it with Jodie Fleisch as well? Or has it just been singles?
no, sadly not just singles with Johnny, but I still can't complain at that.
No, mate, it's still fucking awesome.
Amazing, amazing. He's just so full of knowledge and, like getting to talk to him afterwards, and he's just like, the biggest bit of feedback I can give you is that you're a safe pair of hands,
Yeah.
which is like the ultimate sort of, feedback you can get from him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Like, you're okay. See ya.
Yeah. All right, go away, mate.
And the fact that you've worked with him like multiple times now, and it's not a case of
Yeah,
one and done, that's it, and you've not heard anything back. The fact that he's, gone up his way to work with you again,
yeah,
that
yeah,
itself is a compliment to you.
yeah. It's so cool.
Tell me about some of your other singles career highlights.
Working Taylor James.
Nice.
um, one many parts of the rebellion now.
Yeah.
I've learned so much from working him, and even Torino as well. I've learned so much from them too, and they've really made me become a better performer.
Hmm.
Really helped me kick it up a gear. Working places like UKPW, I had a great match with Truman Roswell.
Hmm.
That was really fun match. But then also getting to work the newer guys coming into the industry, people like Isaac Blair, Raymond O'Reilly,
Hmm.
Eden Rise, like those guys have given me such a kick up the arse to the point. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but my match with Isaac Blair at Dropkicks, I was so close to being done with wrestling at that point.
Really?
Yeah, I'd mentally checked out. I was so finished with wrestling. I was
I
like, I
completely
need a
understand. I do.
I was
It's
like, I need a
not
break
easy.
from this. I don't love it anymore.
Hmm.
It is what it is. And I had this match with Isaac, and I was like, no, he has given me the kick up the arse I needed.
Mm.
If I'd love to run it back with Isaac if I could, I really would.
I'm sure that can happen this year. He's a good
Fingers
lad. I
crossed.
forget how young he is as well, but
I
he's
know
so
it's
mature for
annoying.
his age, and like how good he is as well. He's developed
I
into
know.
like a really good, strong talent in the UK scene.
Mm.
Um,
I give him another 5 years. He's gonna be one of the top talents in the UK, without a doubt.
yeah,
Without a doubt.
I wouldn't bet against that. But
No.
I'm sure there's also good things for you as well. And we're going to talk about more things in your career, and that's discussing the emo trash boys. I've got to see you, from the commentary booth. Oh my God! By the way, just before I talk about the tag match, so the tag team, the last tag team match I saw and commentated when you was against the Dapple Gentlemans.
Oh no, don't talk
Uh,
about that.
yeah, when Ted Snows.
Yeah,
Fuck,
yeah.
I know it didn't go your way, but it was a great match.
It was. They're great guys.
Yeah.
He sucked for me and Ted, the result,
Mhm.
and for his nose. But it's one of those things like you get in there, you're bound. Something's going to happen at some point. And it was a really fun match. It was definitely main event worthy, from at least from my perspective.
Yeah, it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I know when people say like, "Oh, it's not ballet," but don't people actually understand how tough ballet is? It's just
Yeah, like their feet are jacked, like they're
it's
in
really
pain all the time. Like
it's like using a
it
sarcastic
sucks.
expression, but it's a really fucking tough thing to do. Um,
Like from a guy who's had injuries, it sucks.
yeah, man. Like I thought to squeeze that in, but tell me about you and Ted Sabin. I know you two have wrestled each other. You're now
Mhm.
like a really strong tag team. Tell me your first impression of him, how he is as a tag team partner and as an opponent.
Oh, yeah. So I first met Ted actually on my debut for Dropkicks many years ago.
Nice.
And to try and cut a long story short, I arrived while the show was starting, and I was match number one. Um,
Oh, Lucas wasn't happy.
no, Lucas was not happy. But again, I was coming from Kent,
Yeah,
and I got lost. And eventually I got there, and we're trying to go through the match, and I've got 4 or 5 people just trying to talk to me at once. I'm like, one person step up and talk to me and tell me what we're doing, and
yeah.
that was Ted. And Ted spoke to me, Ted did a big dive, which to this day is the scariest dive I've ever seen. He did a moonsault off the apron,
Hmm.
and he just went straight up instead of out. So all of our kind of hearts dropped to our asses and kind of dove in to save him. And then he actually picked up the win on me in that match. He did a big moonsault on me, got the pin, and that was my first impression of Ted. It's the first time I met him. And then
No.
a few years later, just after the COVID period, I reached out and was like, "Hey, um, really odd one to throw out there, but I don't suppose you fancy starting a tag team with me. I think this is something that we could really work and do something really well with.
Hmm.
I can get you a load of work. You can get me some work. You know, we I think we'd really work." And at first, it was hard for people to see our vision. A lot of people are like, "I don't know, I don't know." And then once we got that ball rolling,
Mm. I think
it
sometimes
was
it just
just
needs to. It's not going to connect, or that chemistry. It just isn't always going to be out there
yeah.
firsthand. First impressions, but organically, you grow into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just needed the one person to take a chance on us.
Yeah.
And the company called Lockons, they took a chance on us. I was a champion at the time. They took a chance on us and we just ran rampage for that company. And places like UKPW jumped on and then Dropkicks did and we've done it Bring Me Pro.
Hmm.
Um and yeah, just have faith in us to go, yeah, we see your vision as this, these scatty little rodents who are just a nuisance to the public,
Yeah.
but you can't help but also love us. But we're also just, you have to be us. That's the nature of the game. But yeah, like me and Ted have so much fun. Like when I'm tagging with Ted, I just it just gives me joy to wrestle again.
You both got kind of similar styles, but you do have things that you're better at, and then he's better at,
Yeah,
and but it
absolutely.
just works.
Yeah, yeah,
You're both very intense. I noticed that,
yeah,
but sharp
yeah.
as well. You got the high flying style a little bit, but you've always got the grounded, the stiffness as well. I've noticed that.
Yeah, absolutely. We try and cover our bases. Like I'm a huge fan of the Motor City Machine Guns, the Hardy
Mm,
Boys, and I try and reflect that in my work. So we can do the technical stuff he wants to do. That. We can do the hard hitting strikes. We can do the high flying stuff. We can do the risk taking stuff. Like,
mhm.
and then we just split it between us. If Ted's like, okay, I'm gonna do a lot of the high flying stuff this match. Like, okay, cool. I'm gonna take it
Yeah,
back a notch and I'm gonna start punching people in the face. It's or
yeah.
whatever it may be.
That's it, and then you're not predictable. One person
No.
keeps the opponent grounded, the other one can do, the more high flying stuff. But then
Yeah.
one night, and then this night, and then that's the thing. But you can have so much fun with tag team
Exactly.
wrestling.
Yeah. It's my bread and butter. It's something I've always loved. Like I've always been in tag teams. It's
Mm,
something someone say, "Oh, Andros, you're a little tag team whore." It's like, oh yeah, technically, I
yeah.
am. But I just love it. I love tag team wrestling. It's such a beautiful art if it's done correctly, of course.
Oh, 100% agree, mate. That's one of the reasons I'm glad like a certain McMahon has stepped down. And
Yeah,
just like the lack of respect tag team wrestlers. I know it's still not great now, but there is a bit more emphasis on it. Like it's oh god, honestly, I like the '90s and the early 2000s.
yeah,
We was mentioning one like the first match you saw, pretty much TLC two,
yeah, yeah.
Dudley,
Absolutely.
Hardys, and then Christian. Like it's you can have the main events, but tag team wrestling is for everyone, I think.
Yeah. It's one of those. Just the excitement's just always there. It's something special, and it's easy to get people to understand it. So it's one of those. I just love it so much.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Got a fun question for you. How do
Hmm.
you personally define emo?
Emo. Wow. Wow. That's the thing, because everyone's like, oh yeah, you're the goth boys. Like, no, we're emo, we're emo. And
Take an actual offense to that.
yeah, it's like, oh, how dare you? I kind of, I kind of a bit more of like the dress sense and like I'm very much of like the mid 2000s
Mm.
emos, like the slightly like the My Chemical Romance, the
Yeah.
tight jeans, the studded belts, the eyeliners.
The MySpace profile.
Yeah, exactly all that. So I'm a little bit more of an elder emo compared to Ted. Ted's a bit more of a new boy to it all,
Yeah.
but it's one of those. Once you're in that phase, it's hard to get out of it, and you will always be forever stuck in it.
Wicked, wicked. Can you explain the difference between wrestling in a tag team and a singles match?
So
This is more
less
catered
bumps.
towards the casual fan, I'd say, this question, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, like from a performer standpoint, less bumps, depending. Um, you've got someone to rely on. You've got someone watching your back, which helps massively. It's less work. in terms of, you get that rest period. I can tag out, I can take a breather, breathe, cool. In a singles match, you can't do that. Like if I'm not in control, I can't do that.
Hmm.
Whereas in a tag match, if I'm in control, I can tag in and out all I want. And it's one of those. It's just so much more fun. You can work together. You can have the opportunities open up a lot more as well. There's a lot more options to do things with tag wrestling compared to singles wrestling.
Hmm.
Not that I'm dissing singles wrestling at all. Like I still love doing all my singles matches, but if I have the opportunity to pick between a singles or a tag, there's 9 times out of 10 I'm picking that tag match.
Wicked, wicked. Hello there. I've got a special announcement for my next guest.
Hola, I'm Shelly Martinez, and this is Minnie, and I'm going to be the next guest on the What Do You Call It podcast. Tune in.
Yeah, I heard. We just took a quick break there, but I've only got one or two more questions for my guest, and then we're going to wrap this interview up. So, Andros, please tell me three dream dinner guests for your dream party. Doesn't have to be wrestling related, but you're the host, past, present. You can go future if you want. Doesn't have to be wrestling though. That's the main thing because some people still have it in mind because we've been speaking about it for the last 30 minutes or so. But anything, you're the guest. No, you're not.
Okay.
You're the host, but
I'm
we
the
want
host.
it.
I'm hosting. Um, but I mean, if they can count as one, which would be fantastic, would have to be the Hardys.
I'll let you have
Again,
it. I
I'll
will
let them
let
sit
you
on the
have
same
it.
chair, something like that. It'd have to be the Hardy Boys. Like they have been my idols growing up. Like I absolutely adore the Hardy Boys so much. Um, and then like weirdly, I'd have to say either Johnny Knoxville or Steve-O from Jackass.
I'm only letting you pick
I,
one for this one.
like it would have to in mine it would have to be Steve-O. I'd love to
Yeah.
have Steve-O there. Um, and again, like he's dabbled in the wrestling scene. He's done, his appearances, and I loved Jackass growing up. I absolutely loved it.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And then lastly, it'd have to be Gerard Way from My Chem.
Fair play. Fair play.
That's my three, odd three, but they would be my three.
No, but it's each part represents who you are. You want
Yeah,
them there to pick their
absolutely.
brain because they've all had an influence in your life.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it. There's no wrong or right answer in this. Some people get a bit worried about like, oh, did I say the right thing? You can say what the
Yeah.
fuck you want.
It's my party. I have who I want.
Exactly, mate.
There we
Um,
go.
Andros, who do you see the emo trash boys wrestling this year? Not any wrestler, sorry, not any tag teams that you've already got lined up, but anyone in the UK scene that you fancy getting in the ring with and establishing that you are potentially the best tag team in the British wrestling scene.
Um, I mean, it's a bit of a cop out answer, but anyone,
Yeah.
absolutely anyone. Like that's who I want to just, we've had the opportunities now, and now it's time to try and take it up a notch. So people like Sunshine Machine, well-established teams who've done the progress, they've
Mhm.
been over the seas, stuff like that. They're the sort of teams, the teams that are at that next level. They're the teams that I want for me and Ted to face. They're the ones that we want to absolutely slap it around with and show everyone that no, we are on the same level as you.
Mhm.
We just need that opportunity. And then side note, Dapper Chappies, I'm gonna slap them so hard to take those belts back because
Fuck's sake, got
I'm
their
not having
name
I'm not
wrong.
having none of
Sorry,
that again.
lads. Dappy.
Um,
Fuck's sake, got their name wrong. I think I called them the Dappy Gentlemen, but it's the Dapper. Yeah. My bad, lads, but I know they'll let me know next week when I do commentary. Do apologise. I fuck up a lot. I ain't done an interview for ages. But I'm allowed. I'm allowed. Yeah, it's what.
yeah, yeah. It was your birthday this week. It's fine.
Exactly. I'm actually
There we
drunk
go.
this week, but but I might be doing that this weekend, but who knows.
Oh,
But Andros, name me your top five emo bands and I'll let you go for the rest of the day.
oh, oh. Uh, My Chem, always
Yeah.
number one. Good Charlotte. I love Good Charlotte. Which is yeah, it's one of those. It's kind of not, but
Yeah.
I do like those boys. I was a big Papa Roach fan. I like Papa
I
Roach.
like Papa Roach a lot.
Papa Roach is sick. They're like very much one of those I just get right into.
Yeah.
Who else? Paramore. I love Paramore.
Good life.
Yeah, you can't not like Paramore. Like
Yeah.
Paramore's dope. Um, AFI. I love AFI.
I've already heard a few of their songs. I know loads of people are
Oh, really?
mad about them, but I've never
Yeah.
actually religiously sat there and just listened to a lot of AFI.
Yeah, no, yeah, they slap hard, they really
Mm.
do. And then like this isn't like necessarily emo, but I've got to put them in there because they're purely just one of my favorite bands of all time.
So,
Him,
another band I've not really sat down and
yeah.
listened to, but then I've just I really admitted that I've listened to a lot of Paramore and seen them live. I won't get much for that. Joe, I don't give a fuck. They're really good live. Don't care.
No, amazing. But no,
Uh,
yeah, like him. If you get a chance to listen a bit more of that,
yeah.
I'd highly suggest it. I love him.
But the first three, four bands that you said, I am actually fully aware, big fans of them. But the last two, not really too familiar with. Andros, where can the fans find you on social media?
Real Andros J on everything.
Wicked, wicked.
Nice and easy.
If the listeners missed out, I'll put the description in the details below. That'll be with your social media handle. It'll be with my social media handle as well. See what I've got lined up next. I've got Big Trouble Ben Bishop return to the podcast. You can see my last interview as well with Shelly Martinez, and you can go back and watch this interview again because it's been an absolute laugh. Give my boy a follow, and
Thank you.
yeah, see what I've got lined up for the next few weeks. But for now, everyone, have a great weekend. Happy birthday to me, and
Yes, happy birthday to this guy.
shout out to the pace setter. Take care,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's time for What Do You Call It? Podcast.